Hey everyone, this episode, if you're struggling to sleep, this episode will put you to sleep because today I'm going to talk you through how I scan my negatives, which is actually duller than golf. So if you are struggling to sleep, keep watching because honestly you'll be knocking out those Zs like a sloth after a milky drink. The enthusiasm is just palpable. So if you're interested in scanning 120 negs on a budget, like me, then this is my entire setup. This is all you need, and a tripod. Basically, I made this if it looks like it's been thrown together in an afternoon, that's because it's been thrown together in an afternoon. It's basically 5mm foam board, black foam board, glue, tape, and just prayers, really, just holding it together. Inside you'll see it's painted white just so that the flash bounces around, and then there's a diffuser inside there, a round one. This is the negative holder, so the negative gets fed through there, pops out the other side, and then there's a couple of shark fins underneath there. They just put the negative in that kind of position, so it means it's flatter that way, so it sits flatter within that square. Anyone still awake? Better than me. So inside here, well behind here should I say, is a little diffusing box which I made from, I stole it off my girlfriend's dressing table. She had things in it, I don't know what they were, but I stole it, cut it up and made a little diffusing box. Perfect. Don't tell her, she'll not watch this. So that diffuses the light even further, and then also this negative holder, I've just built it so that I can wiggle that negative around. What that allows me to do is when I shoot the negative, obviously the camera stays exactly where it is on a tripod, and the box stays exactly where it is, but the negative moves ever so slightly. What that means is I can shoot 6 overlapping sections of each negative. That gives me 6 files, which I then take into Photoshop, stitch together, invert, and then you end up with a perfect image. Sometimes, but yeah, so that's basically all I do. The other pieces of kit that I've got in here, this is the Godox V1 flash. It's got this handy little diffusing dome on top of it, so that diffuses the flash even more. That sits inside the light box like that. I've got a wireless trigger, and this is a Canon 6D Mark II 70mm Sigma macro lens. It sits in that kind of position on a tripod just above. The only thing you've got to get right is you've got to get everything flat. So this lens hood, the plane of that lens hood has to be flat and square with the plane of the negative holder. If it's not, you'll end up with a skewy kind of final image. You can fix that in post. You can fix it in transform and skew and warp. But again, it's just adding more time to it. Although it's quite I think I can do a finished, from scan to finish negative, I think it's about 20 minutes I've got it down to altogether. But you get in a really big file from that. You get in probably a 60 megapixel image, which is about 140 meg. And you could do that even better if you were shooting on medium format. So that's basically what I do. I also, when I'm scanning, I put a mattress and a load of cushions around me just in case I do fall asleep. And I just fall on the floor and don't bang my head. I'm joking, obviously I don't do that. Okay, so you should only really have to focus once if everything's square and flat. So just position it, pick a corner, top left. First shot, middle top. Sound like darts. Top left corner. And then slide that negative up that way. So now we're going to do bottom left, bottom middle, or 3 if you are a darts fan, and then bottom right quadrant. So that's the 6 sections, 6 overlapping sections of that negative shot. So now we'll get them into Capture One and Photoshop. Okay, so we're in Photoshop. We're going to go to File, automate photo merge. I always tend to click on vignette removal and geometric distortion correction. However, I've already corrected these, so probably won't need that, but I'll leave it on anyway. Then you go into browse, find your selected files. Select all 6. I've named these so you know which ones they are. Open. Then just click on OK. And let it do its magic. My Mac's an M1, a 2021 M1 chip, so it's quite slow. It's more of a lemon than an apple. Okay, so that's what you end up with. That's the negative of the entire file, the 6 images stitched together. You can still see them as layers there. So we're going to go into layer, flatten image, and then Command and I to invert, and then you end up with that finished image. So the 6 sections, I squared them up already just so it was quicker, but sometimes if you've not squared those up and cropped them to the actual negative size, then you might just have to go into sort of, you might have to do Command and J to create a new layer, and then use edit and transform and then skew and warp just to straighten everything up to an 8x10 size. So, but that's the finished image, and it's pretty good. It's a pretty good scan, to be fair, and that's 165 megabytes. So it's not bad for 6D Mark II.